This is it, the 8th annual Southside Pitch. Good evening. I'm Beth Krieger, the director of the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship at the University of Chicago Law School. On behalf of our team at the IJ Clinic, I'm here to welcome you. I welcome the folks here in the Polsky Center on Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the University of Chicago. Here with us tonight, our finalists friends, our panel of esteemed judges, our camera crew. This is a first for the Southside Pitch. And I welcome all of you out there watching on phones and tablets and monitors and TVs. We're so glad you could join us tonight, and we're counting on you to vote at the end so we can pick the prize winners. I tell you now, it's going to be a tough call because our 6 finalists are all phenomenal. We certainly miss having rows of chairs filled here in this room. We miss the energy and anticipation and buzz of a crowd. We miss seeing the expressions on your faces when you get inspired or surprised or wowed, and these finalists will wow you, trust me. We miss hearing the cheering and clapping and hooting and hollering, and we miss having the next generation of entrepreneurs in strollers, waiting patiently to get a crack at these balloons. But we wanted to protect each other. And we wanted to make sure we could reach as big an audience as we could with this contest tonight. So we're putting on the best show we can here for you to watch at home, whether you're down the street or across the country. This is, of course, our second time doing Southside Pitch in this health crisis. And I know a lot of us are in fear that we have a community crisis too. Our city feels fractured. It's hard to get to know your neighbors, and it's tempting to do all your business in isolation on a computer. But take heart tonight, all of you in the Southside Pitch community, because you are about to hear from 6 stellar entrepreneurs who are restoring health and building community. Make that 8 entrepreneurs, because we have some special guests too. They are pursuing their own dreams for their own families. They are connecting neighbors around a shared passion. They're providing a way for Southsiders to get just what they need close to home. They're building healthful environments. They're helping Southsiders get to know themselves better, as well as their history. And their place in the history will tell in 50 years. These are 6 outstanding examples of what small business owners can do with passion, perseverance, vision, and veracity. But they are examples. We heard from over 100 unique, impactful Southside businesses when we started the Southside Pitch competition this summer. And we fell in love with each and every semifinalist who made a video. And we know there are many more. The small businesses in our neighborhoods bond us together. They create opportunities for neighbors to work together, shop together, and build community together. They make for healthy neighborhoods, healthy economies, and healthy communities. And that is why the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship showcases some stellar examples of entrepreneurship on the South Side once a year at the Southside Pitch. And that is why we fight all year long to make sure small business owners have a clear path to work their magic. Every American should feel free to dream, like our 6 finalists have dreamed. And the laws should never put up unnecessary barriers for those dreams, particularly for entrepreneurs who are starting their big dreams with small budgets. Just in the year since the last Southside Pitch, we at the IJ Clinic have succeeded in knocking down limitations for home-based businesses in Chicago and limitations for home-based food businesses all over the state. After advocating for change for over 10 years, we saw the city finally make it easier to put up a business sign over the front door. And it's finally legal for a business to put up a sidewalk sign, letting customers and neighbors know they're there so they can keep building community. We will continue the fight for our clients and for these entrepreneurs throughout Chicago so that starting a small business is not like sailing into a headwind created by the government's rules and procedures. We will continue the fight for our finalists tonight and the entrepreneurs yet to come. Who knows? Some of you watching tonight might be inspired to start your own business and apply for Southside Pitch next year. We'll be looking for you. So let's get started. Go ahead, pop some popcorn, get ready to watch these poppin' entrepreneurs. To kick us off, we've got one of those special guests I mentioned. We are so glad to have a few words from a former Southside Pitch finalist on this stage just a few years ago and current IJ Clinic client. It's been amazing to get to know the business that has grown from the time we first saw that Southside Pitch application. So I'm really proud and honored to introduce Jesse Iniguez, one of the founders of Back of the Yards Coffee Company. Take it away, Jesse.
Thank you, Beth. And wow, it seems like just yesterday we were here in the hot seat and pitching to a crowd of people. A lot has happened since then. The pandemic has just happened, and it's been hard for a lot of businesses. But my name is Jesse Iniguez, and I am the co-founder of Back of the Yards Coffee. First and foremost, I want to congratulate all the finalists who are here today. I know how hard you've worked because I've been through there. I've been through that as well, and I know you have worked tough, long hours, and whatever the outcome today, know that this work will help you. For us, it did a number of things. One is working with the IJ Clinic has been it's been so much has helped us so much, has helped us grow, has helped us do things, save money that we couldn't have done without their support. And the pitch itself prepared us for other pitches. We've been pitching to other, we've been able to pitch to other investors and banks, and this experience really has helped us. We started this business in the south side of Chicago because there simply wasn't any other coffee shop in our neighborhood. I'm from Back of the Yards, born and raised, and I've been there pretty much my whole life. And we didn't have anywhere to go or who to ask for support or ideas for this business, right? And so that's why it's so important, the work that you're doing, so that because you're going to be inspiring other businesses as well. And I look forward to doing business with some of you as well. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about our community, right? I'm so honored to be part of this cohort of businesses that have been through the Southside Pitch and have been very lucky and to be able to have presented here. We are now on our growth mode since our pitch. We are actually presenting to other investors and banks as well. We're looking to grow into our second and third location. And we are also looking to get into supermarkets. So look out in the next year or so as our growth happens. But if I could get one advice to entrepreneurs looking to start business, first thing I'll say that it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But it will be hard. And for those of you looking to start a business, definitely do your homework. Don't be afraid of failure, because you will fail, and that is okay. But you learn from those mistakes, and then you build, right? And that's what we're doing now. It's taken us 5 years to get to where we are, and we've been able to employ people from our community, and that's been one of the most wonderful things that we've had. So again, good luck to everyone. I thank you for taking this chance and this opportunity, and I look forward to looking at your presentations and hearing your presentations, and I'm excited for you. Thank you.
Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome to the IJ Clinic's 8th annual Southside Pitch. We have an exciting evening ahead. While 6 of Chicago's most inspiring small business owners vie for serious cash prizes and the title of first place in Southside Pitch 2021. And you, the audience, will join our panel of prestigious judges to vote on who wins. I will be your host tonight. My name is Noah Basis. I work with the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship, and I'm the Policy Fellow, which just means I read the boring stuff so you don't have to. I'm here to explain the rules of the competition and walk you through the program. So here's how it works. Our 6 finalists are an elite group of Southside small business owners who were whittled down from a group of over 100 impressive applicants. It was truly difficult to choose these finalists, which shows how rich and diverse the business community is here on the South Side. Thanks to all of you in the audience and to our partners and community organizations who voted on these semifinalists. Thank you. It was tough, but we were wowed by our 6 finalists and can't wait for all of you to get to know them better. Tonight, each of these finalists will get 3 minutes to pitch their business. After each pitch, our panel of expert judges will ask some questions to dig deeper into the story behind the pitch. We are so grateful to our panel who bring years of experience advising and evaluating small businesses. These 4 judges know all about what makes a business tick and how a small business on the South Side makes a big impact. So now, to introduce our judges. First off, Kelly Evans of Chicago Urban League.
Hello. Hi, I'm Kelly Evans from the Chicago Urban League. And at the Chicago Urban League, we work to achieve equity for Black families and communities through social and economic empowerment. And I am really excited to be here tonight and to hear how all of these wonderful founders are going to be making impacts in the community as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Next up is Blake Overlock from Loud Capital.
Hi, everyone. My name is Blake Overlock. I'm a principal with Loud Capital. We are a early-stage venture capital firm and alternative investment firm. Our investment thesis focuses around venture for people, and we are proud to say that about 50% of our portfolio companies have a female and/or minority founder or co-founder. It's great to be here.
Great to have you here, Blake. Thank you. Next up, Joanna Trotter from the Chicago Community Trust.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Joanna Trotter. The Chicago Community Trust is a community foundation, which essentially means we do philanthropy. We give grants to nonprofit organizations. We're committed to closing the racial and ethnic wealth gap, and for that very reason, we fund a lot of organizations like the Urban League who are providing services to entrepreneurs of color. So excited to be here. And the last thing I'll say is I'm a super proud South Sider, live in South Shore, so very excited to patronize your businesses.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Wendy Walker-Williams of the University of Chicago Office of Civic Engagement.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Wendy Walker-Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Community Partnerships in the Office of Civic Engagement. Our office works very closely with the residents and businesses in the 9 neighborhoods that surround our campus. This is not my first rodeo judging one of these competitions. I was actually a judge last year for Shark Tank, so I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm ready to be wowed. So congratulations to the 6 businesses that we will be hearing from tonight.
Fantastic. Thank you again to all of our judges. But let's get into it and let's talk about how this is going to go. After all 6 pitches, our panel of judges will think through how they rank the finalists. And so will you. After the final pitch, we'll share a link to the ballot so that you can vote as the 5th judge. The audience votes are especially important because we also have an extra prize for the community favorite. Whichever business gets the most support from our online audience, we're counting on you to make those votes for us. After tonight's pitches, be ready. The voting window will be short. It will only be 10 minutes. Throughout this competition, we've been evaluating our contestants on 5 criteria. You can think through these as you listen to the pitches and the Q&A. When I come back between the pitches, I'll describe each of these just a bit more. But here are a few themes that we encourage you to think about as you serve as a judge. business impact, business vision, creativity, Southside connection, and of course, a little showmanship. Go ahead, get a pen and paper, get a notepad, whatever you need. You might want to take notes. These businesses are very impressive, and feel free to shout out these finalists as we go using the online comments. We may not all be in the same room this year, but we are all part of the same Chicago community. And with that, let's get going. Our first finalist is Odessa Parkinson from North Kentwood.
Thank you. So let's celebrate, educate, connect, and empower girls on their journey to young womanhood. Hi, my name is Odessa Parkinson, and I'm the founder of Blossom Girls. Did you know that 56% of girls feel uncomfortable talking about their vaginal health? 1 out of 5 girls miss school due to period poverty, and 1 out of 5 parents feel anxiety talking about menstruation and puberty. I was one of those parents. When the time came for me to talk to my daughter about young womanhood, I was so uncomfortable. I wanted her to be educated. I wanted her to feel good about her experience, but I didn't know where to start. So I threw a party. I invited her closest friends, their parents. I created a curriculum that would give us a tool to have this difficult discussion with our girls. What I found was that other parents had the same issue, and that was the beginning of Blossom Girls. Now, I'm not expecting you guys to run out and throw a party because I've already done the work for you. I've created a celebration in a box. The Blossom Girls Celebration Kit is a fun and intimate learning package that teaches girls about the changes happening to their bodies leading up to menstruation. Our goal is for every girl to have a positive experience, removing shame and embarrassment and replacing it with high self-esteem. We're giving parents a tool, an easy communication tool to have this discussion, and we're filling the gap for positive puberty education. So, imagine that you're a 10-year-old little girl and you started your cycle. Your parents haven't prepped you. You don't even know what's going on in your body, and you're scared. And then you shift the gears to Blossom Girls. And so the parent gives the Blossom Girl kit, and she immediately feels special. She's inundated with cherry blossom fragrance, glitter, confetti. Parents, most importantly, there's an educational workbook, there's sanitary products, there's keepsake items, and much more. This gives her everything she needs to start her journey to young womanhood. And that's what differentiates us from our competitors. We're focused on that first little girl's experience. So who's buying these kits? Active moms, but we also have dads, grandparents, aunties joining in on the celebration. We have sales from Chicago South Side all the way to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Canada, the UK, Saudi Arabia, and just recently, Malaysia. But this isn't all about profit. We have a mission to end period poverty and shaming, and so we've partnered with Southside organizations such as She Votes Illinois, Margaret's Village, I Love You, and Mothers Against Street Shooters, where we provide education and free period supplies. So, winning this contest, well, let me go back. Where do we sell this product? We sell it on blossomgirls.net, Amazon.com, and Etsy.com, where we have 5-star ratings, and it sells for $39 a box. And having these venues have contributed to our 257% growth over the past 4 years. But winning this contest would enable us to buy bulk inventory so that we can jumpstart our initiative with CPS elementary schools to provide education, educational workbooks, kits, and sanitary products. We also want to expand our reach in the South Side to underserved communities, providing education and products. So, judges, I'm sure that you have a little girl that you know that could benefit from this product, or a parent that's not prepared that could benefit from this product. So your decision today will help shift the paradigm from shame and embarrassment to the celebration of young womanhood. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's go to our judges. Karen, let's start with you.
This is awesome. I am all of those things that you just said. I'm a parent who's uncomfortable with the conversation. I have an 8-year-old who I have no idea how I'm going to explain this to. So this is like perfect for me. I'm like,
And please
perfect
open
good.
the boxes if
Oh,
you, so
yeah.
you can get
So
the-
I'm just curious, like, what is your revenue model? Is it based on sales? Because I know you're on a couple of different sales channels, but you talked about educational experiences with the schools and things like that, and working with community organizations. Like, what is your revenue model, and where do the majority of your sales come from?
So the majority of our sales come from online. 70% come from Amazon.com. So they take a lot of our profits. So our goal is to redirect the traffic to our Blossom Girl Network site to drive down the cost. And then we also, we partner with these Southside organizations. Oh, you just, yeah.
Don't break it.
No, it's for you to look at and touch. So we partner with the Southside organizations. So we do sanitary and period drives so that we can collect products. So that's kind of that's our give back. So we don't make any money off of that. That's our give back. And then what we talked about as far as CPS is concerned, so we were invited to be on a coalition for She Votes Illinois. And one of their big initiatives is to get rid of the inequities for menstruation. And so we helped with that coalition, and then we had laws passed so that women who have on public assistance can use their public assistance to buy sanitary products. Now they're going to have free products in grammar schools, and that's where we come in. We want to be a part of that initiative, high schools, and then for the homeless. So our governor just signed those bills, and we were a part of that. And that was really I learned so much being a part of that coalition about, just all the inequities for, menstruation. So
This is great. I love this.
thank you.
Yeah, I can go next. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's all I had.
No. So one of my questions I have is, what's currently your biggest challenge to growing your business right now, and what are you doing to solve it? So sorry, it's a bit of a two-part question.
Okay, so I think our biggest challenge is inventory, right? Our inventory management. So there's two things. Inventory management, so just being able to buy in large quantities so that we don't have to turn off our site. Like even during COVID, we were getting so many orders and we thought it would be the reverse. But I guess because people were home, we were getting orders and we kept running out of product, and then we had to shut the site down. So I think that's our biggest challenge. And I'm also working to drive business to my site because, again, Amazon takes a lot of our, they take $6 a box. Mm-hmm. And so if we can do, we're trying to do the Google Analytics and just drive more traffic to our site. And so then we can just increase our profit. So I think those are our two biggest challenges right now.
Okay. Yeah, and what are you doing right now to address those challenges?
Well, I'm at the pitch contest because winning the pitch contest will enable me to buy in larger quantities. Okay. That's one of the things. And then I do have the person who developed my website. We're working together to increase the analytics to bring more traffic to the site.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, this is great. I too have a daughter. I wish I had this box a few years ago, but Joanna, I guess I'll give you mine. My question is, how much does it cost you to make this box?
So right now it costs $25 to make, and we sell it for $39. But we're trying to find our sweet spot because our competitors, they start at $22 and then they go all the way up to $60. And so we still have room to increase the price of the box. Mm-hmm. And so we're working with our accounting, we're working through our financials to see where the sweet spot is.
So what's in the $60 box? Like what product in here is missing? 'Cause it seems
Some
like
of
to
them
me you've
have
covered it all.
Some of them have the panties, the panties that they wear. Mm. Some of our competitors, like Ruby Love, they include period panties.
Oh.
So those are, but I've purchased all of my competitors' boxes, and
Yours is the best.
little girls wouldn't want to wear that. So again, I'm targeting that first little girl. But yeah.
So what's next?
Okay, so the vision for Blossom Girls, I mean, we have so many things that we want to do. So we want to expand our product line. So we want it to be a one-stop shop for puberty. You can get deodorant, body wash, lotions, everything that your little girl needs to start on this journey. And then we want to take that box and shrink it down and put it in the retail space so that, these are custom. Like our customers are middle-class moms, pretty much. But what about the girls that just live, on the South Side and, the mother has to run to the store and she doesn't have this whole prep. So now she can go to Walgreens or Target and get a mini version of that, pull it off the shelf. It's going to have confetti in it. It's going to still have a little ribbon. It'll have sanitary products. So she can feel special too. And then the price point will be, the same price point as it is for, any other sanitary products, like $10, $12. So we want to expand the retail space. We want to provide subscription-based services for our customers because some of our customers are like, well, where's my box? I'm like, no, you only get one box. And they're like, oh, I thought I was going to get one every month. But that goes back to the bulk inventory and making sure we have enough product to supply that demand. And then, just continue to educate people on shaming and period poverty and just expand our reach and just, because, I was always looking for how am I going to give back to the community? And so, again, when I was invited to be on the coalition, I just learned so much about menstrual inequity. And so that is going to be a really key, it's really key to our business. It's going to go hand in hand. It can't do one without the other.
Thank you. Joanna?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's so fascinating to learn about that. You hear so much about issues of diaper inequity and access and being able to use public benefits for those things and not about this. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. I had similar questions, so I just wanted to go just a little deeper. So with this support, as you think about migrating and getting more customers through your site, what is your thinking about marketing? I'd also be curious, is this going to help you do more in the retail spaces? And what does that look like for you next?
Okay, so as far as marketing, our marketing dollars are low. And so again, in 3 minutes, I couldn't tell you everything I need to do, but I do need to increase my marketing dollars so that Blossom Girls can be on the first page when somebody does a Google search. And so right now, I think we're on the second page, third page, so I need to work with my web designer, which costs, to increase, so we want to increase our dollars for Google Ads so we can be up top. So that's one thing that we want to do for the marketing piece. And what was your other question? I'm sorry. I just want to.
Oh, just what's the plan to get into retail stores?
Well, right now we're just doing a prototype. So I'm just working on what does that box look like. And so fortunately, I'm a Sunshine graduate, and so I'm working with some of the folks there that said that, okay, when you think you're ready, then let me know because they have relationships with Target because they're looking for Black-owned businesses. So I'm not there yet, but that is one of my goals.
Great.
Thank you.
How about, could I ask one more question? I would just love to hear in your own words your connection to the South Side.
Well, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, on 96 in Crandon. I currently live on 43rd and Ellis. So I shop in the south side. I work from home. My kids go to south side schools. And I'm not interested in leaving. I'm happy to be on the south side. I'm happy to support the community. And it's a good place to be. And I'm just glad to be finally working with some organizations that really hit home on the South Side, like the Mothers Against Street Shooters. We go to all of her events, right, in Inglewood, and we pass out supplies, and we talk to women about, any questions that they have. And so it's just been really rewarding to be able to just kind of work in the community and see how we can make a difference.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. As one of our IJ Clinic clients told us, small businesses can transform the kitchen table into a boardroom table. And it can show people in their lives that entrepreneurship is possible. Dreams are within reach. Our judges will be considering each of our finalists in the communities as they pose questions tonight. With that, we're going to move on to our next presenter. Introducing Ian Gonzalez from Bronzeville.
Awesome. Now, what got me to the start line was the pandemic and understanding now is the time. What made the gun go off was me realizing that the Southside running community was not being properly supported. Hi, my name is Ian Gonzalez, and I am the owner of Last Lap Corner Store and a passionate runner. As the only running specialty store south of Roosevelt Avenue, we are purposely located in the Bronzeville neighborhood to create more access to the essentials runners need to continue to get these miles. When we opened up in September of 2020, we only carried a few items such as nutrition from Cliff, Goo Energy, Morton's, a wooden massage roller, and a few Last Lap branded apparel options. Since then, we have grown our product mix to over 11 brands, with 4 of them being small businesses and 3 of them being Black women-owned businesses. We were able to open up 2 major shoe accounts after 6 months of being open, with one of them being the #1 running shoe in the country, Brooks Running, and the other being the most notable, Nike. Now, Nike is extra special to me because prior to, they hadn't opened up a new running account in 6 years. They truly believe in my mission to give Black and brown runners adequate access to the complete experience of the sport of running. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is he lacing up and really going the distance for something as white as running? Because Black people don't want to run marathons. Well, you're looking at a Black and Latino 4-time marathon runner right here. And in the previous 4 years of running along the lakefront, running down King Drive, running through Washington Park with the local run crew that I helped co-found here in Bronzeville, I can say unequivocally that the desire from our community to get into running and create more daily healthy habits is real. The Browning of running is here. All they needed was someone familiar who can make them feel safe and welcome in the space of running. Those are the vibes that Last Lap Corner Store is working so hard to create. For the new runner who is unsure why they can't just put on their old Air Max 95s and hit the lakefront, and even the experienced runner who's shown up at races to feel like the only Black or brown person there. Now see, winning the Southside Pitch Contest will help us continue to grow our product mix and operate with more comfort and certainty. The funds will also allow us to continue offering free workshops for such as bra fittings and proper winter layering, as well as partnering with BIPOC health and wellness coaches to teach our runners the importance of strengthening your body to avoid injuries. Last Lap converts dollars to miles, plain and simple. Now, I am here asking you, the judges, and the folks at home to help Last Lap Corner Store cross the finish line at the Southside Pitch Contest so we can continue to expand our mission on the South Side, because as always, we run with you.
Thank you so much, Ian. Let's start with Blake this time.
Yeah, so I have a two-part question. One, what are your plans for expansion?
My plans for expansion, well, as of right now, I am in Boxville, so I'm in a refurbished shipping container store, and it's small, it's humble, and I love it. My goal right now is to stay there for the next, hopefully, 2 to 3 years to really get an intimate understanding of my business and inventory management. And I'm hoping that once I hit that, that clean 6-figure mark, I'll feel really comfortable about going into a traditional retail space to provide more programming and more products for my runners.
Awesome, that's great, thank you. So, clearly your store and what you're building here has resonated with the Southside community. What are you doing that's different that you think will resonate with other areas of the city as you do expand and even, going nationally potentially?
What am I doing differently in my community? My grandmother would make a plate for anybody who we decided to bring to the house. And the community that I'm creating on the South Side gives that same energy. When you show up to our run clubs, whether you stay 3 blocks from my meetup or 3 neighborhoods over, we make sure that you feel welcome. That's why I don't just focus in on retail. I also have programming out of stores. I have running out of the stores. I have workshops to create that feeling of community, to let you know that I'm not just trying to sell you a pair of shoes. I want you to continue running in those shoes. I want you to enjoy every single mile.
Great, thank you.
I was going to ask, where were you located? But you answered that. And so my second question, because I live very close to where you're located,
Awesome.
is what is your marketing strategy? Who knows about you?
So awesome. I was a little nervous when
When you
asked
saw
what
me,
was
you're
your
like, I've
issue.
seen that lady.
Yeah, no. So right now, that's one of the hurdles that I'm trying to overcome, is because I don't have a lot of competition in my market, but also hopefully winning this Southside Pitch Contest will open up my marketing budget to allow for more grassroots. So right now, my whole thing is on Instagram, it's word of mouth, it's through the running community. People in the city know where I am, but I need the people who stay 2 blocks over on Indiana or right over here on like 60th and Dorchester to know where I am. So I want to incorporate mailers in the post office. You know, when you get the junk mail, I would be one of those additions if you live in the community. And then also there's a program to get like billboards. And there's this one specific billboard that I'd like to get on Lake Park. So hopefully those are some of the ways that I want to expand my name in the community.
So when you think about your business and growing your business, what truly is your priority? Like, are you saying, Wendy, you don't have to go to Fleet Feet. You can just walk a block or 2 blocks and come to my store and buy your next set of running shoes? Or are you saying, Wendy, if you want to be better educated on running, that's my priority? Because you've mentioned a couple of different avenues, so I'm just trying to figure out.
So if I have to split
what's your
that,
plan?
If I have to, I don't really want to split that because those are both very important things to me. But if I have to make one my priority, it's the access. That's why I opened the store. Running and training for marathons prior to having Last Lap, being a father, working, having to go completely out of my neighborhood to just get some socks, get some gels, completely inconvenient, and it really ruined my first training cycle. It kind of killed the experience because it became a hassle, it became a chore. So I would love, that would be my focus, is to have you be able to just come down the block, whether you at home or on your way from work, stop here, get what you need so you can enjoy your miles those next morning.
What are your hours? When are you?
My hours are, I'm open Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Friday, I'm open 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturday, I am open 12 p.m. to 6, and on Sundays, it's 12 to 5.
Thank you. Joanna?
Well, I'm a brand new runner, so everything you're saying very much resonates with me, and I did have to go up to Fleet Feet. And quite frankly, I'm sort of balancing in my head, like, one, they had so many options, but I was also expecting to get the coaching when I was there, right? They have the treadmill, they're supposed to diagnose your feet, and I didn't get that. And so I'm very intrigued by the personalized attention you're talking about, as someone who knows nothing about what I was doing in terms of technique. But I am curious of like how you're thinking about building out the product line, so there are a lot of options for folks. And I also, back to the marketing question, is even thinking about, are there opportunities for sponsorship or involvement in some of the local races and marathons that you could plug into or have already? So those are two-part question.
Okay, yeah. No,
Sort of product supply, and then other marketing avenues that help us on the
Awesome.
south side know where you are.
I love it. So yeah, I mean, there are stores like Fleet Feet that to me are kind of like a big box store to running, right? That has all of these brands, and that's kind of why they need to incorporate things like the treadmill, because them themselves have to narrow down what shoes they're going to offer you, because when you give a customer so many choices, especially a new runner who might not have a lot of information when they come through the door, it can be kind of overwhelming. So for me personally, a lot of the products that I carry in the store are products that I have personally used, or runners really close to me that I trust and look up, not as just peers, but as I don't know, I want to use the word senseis because I'm nervous, but, you know, people who have more experience than me and trust their opinion, right? And so right now I carry Brooks and I carry Nike. I do have, I would like to carry a third brand that I feel like those three will give anybody who comes into my store what they need to start running or continue running.
Hookah.
Hoka, yeah, I didn't want to say it on camera, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. But your second question, what's your second question again?
Just in terms of like, other ways to get exposure, and I'm thinking about some of the local marathons.
Oh,
I'm about
yeah.
hot chocolate, that sort of stuff.
Definitely. Honestly, the store became public thanks to a run club called the Windrunners, who run out of Edge Lounge on the north side. They had a race series called the One Chicago Race Series. And this was before I even had my website open, before I had some products to sell. Somehow Vanessa heard about me and asked me to come sponsor their race and things like that. And I've continued that by working with Gumbo Fit, a local run crew, and their race series, RTL race series, to show up, bring nutrition to their races for people to buy it. And then also recently I worked very closely with the Chicago Marathon to host the Southside Cheer section on 35th in Indiana, which after running that marathon and running that race for so many years and it being completely dead right there at that last 5K for that race, this year was completely different. Usually it would be my kids there, my family, and maybe some random stranger who didn't know what was going on there. But this year, it was like, had to be over like 50, 60 people right there on that corner cheering. So yes, I do my best to partner with as many different running events here in the city as possible.
Thank you. Oh, my turn. Okay. You had me at bra fitting, so let's just go back there. But I don't really have so much as a question, but I want to learn a little bit more about your philosophy, because you mentioned that you had quite a few diverse suppliers in your store, and I'm wondering, is that by design or is that because of where you're located? Like, what was the process for having such a diverse supply chain?
No, it was super intentional, honestly. Like Issa Rae said, I'm rooting for everybody black. So anytime somebody came into my door or I met somebody that had a product that I felt like would be a good fit, yeah, most definitely. My first one was Digital Kente, which is, she had yoga tights and stuff like that. And it was super nice. It was like Kente printed on there or patterns from different Native American tribes, super comfortable, actually slept in a pair myself.
Wow.
Second, it would be from Tiffany, what is it called? Hemp Heals, it's CBD cream. Super excellent story. She didn't even start off for that to be a business. It was something she did to help her mother with her arthritis in her hand.
Yeah.
And it worked so well for her mom, and she loved it. She started telling her friends, and that organically came into a business, hoping she's up here next year. And then secondly was on accident. People just kept the third one was on accident. People kept coming in asking for like running belts or shoulder sleeves. So I was like rushing to find me a company. And it just so happened in my Facebook, a gentleman mentioned this company called Spot Belts. And I was like, you know what? Okay, fine, let me get it. I need this product. The prices are good, let's go. Maybe 3-4 weeks later, this dude, because it's from Austin. So this guy ends up in Chicago, stops in the store, and we're talking. He just casually mentions that the owner of the business is a black woman. And I had no idea. So that one was not intentionally, but the first two was. And I am super happy to continue that as much as possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Real quick, how do you, because you talked about running not being like a black person sport. And I love running. Really slow and kind of a combination of walk run now, but that's another conversation. But how do you market specifically to this community to enjoy and embrace the sport of running?
Well, that's why I kind of lean in with the workshops and the educational piece, because I understand that running can be an unfamiliar space, an unfamiliar territory. And there's so many people who I meet who are interested in running and wants to come out and run with one of the local run crews who'd be like, oh, I'm not fast, or, they got all of these excuses. And I'm hoping to use those workshops as a soft way to introduce them into understanding how simple and how easy and how there's no pressure. It's just about lacing up, putting that foot in front of the other and not stopping after you start. So that's my way of doing it, but then also in my product mix, I used to work for Nike at their running store up north. And when Black and brown women would come in, a lot of the times we wouldn't have a lot of the sizes that would work for them and their bodies. And so knowing where I am and where I'm located, I design my product mix for the customers I have. That's where the name Corner Store, well, that's where the word corner store comes in the name. Because growing up on the South Side, we always have that corner store that provided items based on the local community that was right there. And so that's what I do in my store.
This is wonderful. Very thoughtful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, for the folks at home, this is an important thing to remember. As you evaluate tonight's pitches, you might want to ask yourself, who convinced me that they have exciting plans for the future of this business? Who is poised to grow and have even more impact in the future? Part of any business is their vision for the future. And with that, I'm proud to introduce Ishmael El-Main from Beverly.
Please, examine the photos in front of you. You'll see in green the route that a 10-year-old boy took, a Southside boy, took to baseball practice. You'll see in red the route that a 14-year-old boy took to football practice right here in Washington Park. You'll see in orange the route that he had to take as a high schooler, standing on the bus at 129th and Halsted at 5:17 in the morning to get to 7 a.m. architecture class in high school. Public buses and trains were the backup system for busy parents when they could not find safe transportation with family members, other parents, colleagues, or sometimes coaches. The carpooling network was a staple for many families in the 90s. That boy would grow up to be me. I ended up at Princeton University as a football standout and an engineering major. I'm now raising my own 3 children on the South Side, where I drive 21 miles each way to drop them off in 3 different locations. Dropping off one daughter at school, I see a car that has a bumper sticker for my other daughter's school. Hey, who are you? We should be friends. They speed off a little faster than me every morning. I can't catch them in Van Ryan traffic. We should carpool. I created Piggyback as a carpooling network for families. Parents are the customers, and they come to us in 2 different fashions. On one hand, there's the driving parent. These are background check parents who indicate routes that they already drive on a regular basis, similarly to my 21-mile route. On the other side, there's families looking to send their child to or from school or after-school activities. The platform brings them together, and they meet in person. If they click, they start scheduling rides. The offering parent would earn points for doing the ride. The requesting parent would have points deducted, and then they would pay to replenish those points that were deducted before they had their next ride. The concept began about 3 years ago, and we just went live 2 months ago. Since then, we've racked up 300 users and executed over 30 rides. I've been featured on CBS, WGN, Fox Chicago, and NPR. With any prize money tonight, I plan on working on marketing, increasing the features on the website, and doing some work with some lawyers, which is very expensive. With Piggyback, it's more than just a ride. We're empowering parents to become friends and even build communities. We're providing access to families who are definitely out there raising the next Southside Pitch finalists. With Piggyback, we make the community meet your commute. Thank you.
Thank you, Ishmael. Thank you. All right, let's start off with Wendy.
So as a parent, I can completely relate. I often feel like just a glorified Uber driver 90%
Sometimes
of
not
the time.
glorified.
So I think this is fantastic.
Thank you.
So how do you make your money off of this? Like, how do you make a profit?
So Piggyback is going to keep a portion of each transaction. So for every ride that the driver is making money and the requesting driver is paying money, we're keeping a portion of that ride. We're starting off at 50%. So if a driver pays $10, if a requester pays $10, the driver would get $5 of that as a credit. The company would keep $5 of that.
Who sets the price? The driving parent?
So on the website, before any signing up happens, there's a cut clear price based on mileage and duration of each ride.
Okay.
So one of the things parents talked to me about was they do not like surge pricing. So I have it out there clear in the open. Doesn't matter if it rained, doesn't matter if it was a traffic jam, mileage duration at that typical time of day is set when we actually agree to the ride.
So do you have to be a parent to be a driver? Like, let's say I just want to be a driver.
So we do have some situations where there is no child in the driver's life, but they can attach themselves as a driver to another account where those points would be useful. Because the only form of payment is the points, and those points are only useful to send a child. So it's an exchange.
So the driver never gets any cash?
There's
they
no
just
cash
get
payout, no.
points. Got it. All right, this is great.
Thank you.
Joanna?
So I looked at your website. I actually did not catch that you have to be a parent, which would give me a whole different level of comfort. So that I'm glad to hear that clarity, because I absolutely relate. And my kids just started going to a school on the north side, and I have done all sorts of networking to try to get these carpools set up informally. So that's really exciting. One thing that I think about as a parent is how much our schedules fluctuate. One day is football, one day is after school X, one day we got to get them at 3:15. So like, is the platform set up for that kind of variation, or is it better for somebody who has a very set schedule and we just need Monday and Tuesday every week to look like this?
So I would be surprised if you could show me an adult who has a very set schedule as of today. We're very flexible. With real life, it's difficult to say, here's my set schedule for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I need to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's set up the same way you would interact with a brother or sister who's doing the driving for you. Hey, can you get them next Tuesday? Yes or no?
Yeah.
They fall off, they're not available, try your next option. So the commitments are not long-term contracts. If the person's not available, if you're not available, there's no break to this coverage. It's just, hey, try me next time or something like that.
So you're literally just every day signing into the app and.
It's capable, you're capable to say, hey, this stretch of time, I know I'm gonna need you these days, these times, these hours, but it's not every day. It's based on availability and based on need.
That's great. And, I did do some investigation, and I found like private shuttle services, very expensive. It's more to pay them to just park somewhere and pay a monthly fee. But I did hear about them through the school itself. So I'm curious how you're thinking about marketing through CPS and other schools so that they're connecting parents to the service.
Certainly. So first place would be starting at the parent clusters. They've already become familiar with each other. A lot of tight-knit network where if they trust one person in the group, they may spread the word. The second one is definitely at the school level. And there are some limitations with the public school level, definitely. There's certain contracts and things they can't promote. But we are making those introductions and trying to get the word out there, because that would be great to be able to come down from the district level, city level, instead of having to touch on all of these different communities, yes.
Great. Well, so exciting. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I am stuck on the points. I'm not understanding.
Sure.
I understand the payment for if I'm requesting a ride, but you said something goes up and something goes down.
So the driver can actually be someone that requests a ride, and the person requesting a ride can be someone who drives. They can be mutual.
Okay,
The drive, you earn. The request, you're deducted.
okay,
So at the beginning, before you agree to your ride, you don't have to pay any money. You guys meet each other, everything's great. Now you want to request. You want to make sure you make a purchase for enough points to cover what your ride's going to cost.
got it,
Once the ride completes, that's deducted from your account.
got it, okay, clear. So this might be similar to Joanne's question, but can you schedule like your trips in advance? So I know next Thursday I'm going to be doing whatever. Can I schedule a ride for?
It's required, yes. This is not a flag.
So it's not like an Uber I called today?
No, it's
Okay.
required to schedule in advance, because that parent needs to know you want that request. They'll get notification, they can say yes or no, they're available, yes,
Got it, okay. Do you plan to expand to other markets outside of Chicago?
most certainly.
Okay. Are you in other markets now?
We started off doing some feelers in Austin, Texas, and Atlanta. just a different geography, a different school system, so to try to get a feel for what the parents thought down there. But I'm located here, my co-owner is located in Austin, Texas, and we're putting out feelers at those levels mostly.
Now, with you being in different markets, does your technology speak to one server? Like, how is that?
Everything's centralized. So
Okay.
I'm a software engineer. I designed it. I
Okay.
made it so that it's not necessarily glued to Chicago's
Got it.
geography and basis. So everything, the background check is at a national level. So everybody that wants to be a driver goes into the same system, and they just put the state that they live in, and we go from there.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'd love a little more context on the background checks portion, because I'm sure you're aware, national background checks, there are a number of counties that are not included in a national background check, so it is possible for people to slip through the cracks. So
Certainly.
I wanted to see what you're doing to solve that.
Certainly. So when we reached out for that, and this is one of those cases where I was probably ready to put this into the public eye years ago, everyone slapped me around the face and said, you got to have more security in there. So the background check that we use, we partner with goodhire.com. They handle HR-type hiring decisions. We have a national level criminal-based check, and then there's also the county level. They go back to the last 7 counties that you've lived in based off your driver's license, and they do a criminal check at that level, at the court level. Since we're dealing with driving, there's also motor vehicle checks, and then also the sexual registry. So there's 4 points that they'll go into and hit the background check, and then send me a thumbs up or a thumbs down to each applicant.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who pays for those checks?
So the driver, when they sign up, they will pay for that background check.
How much does it cost?
$60 if they don't want to get a bonus bunch of points with it, $65 if they want 10 extra points with it.
And I was curious, one other final question for me was, the logistics of the pickup from a school
Sure.
also requires some coordination with the school to allow. So if the drivers vary, that gets a little complicated.
This is
Yeah.
why, to her question, it's not a ride-hailing day of situation. You've got to actually, if you make a agreement with my daughter's preschool, there was a fingerprint to get them in and out of the school.
Yeah.
So if this is going to be your driver, you would add them on as a trusted guardian.
Okay.
Ahead of time. Let your school know, let the teachers, principal, whoever's releasing the child,
Yeah.
let them know this is going to be the person picking them up on a regular basis.
Okay, got it.
Are you doing anything to streamline that process so that the parent doesn't have to contact the school every single time that they're having a different driver?
If we ran into a situation where the volume at that school was large enough, I might set up some type of liaison where I say, hey, we got another 3 drivers starting next month, set something up where we could do something electronic. But at this point, everything's kind of scattered all over the city, so it's just up to the parent to bring that driver in and give them the heads up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, folks, remember, prior to the pitch, each of our finalists worked with coaches to hone their pitch and find their voice for tonight's competition. We'd like to take a moment to thank our coaches. Jeff Eschbach, CEO of Page Vault, Debbie Cortez with Sunshine Enterprises, Isra Omar with the University of Chicago Booth School of Business, Vince Williams, CEO of the Minority Supplier Development Council, David Lubin, CEO of University CoWorks, LaForce Baker with Moon Meals and World Business Chicago, and of course, Alyssa Berman Cutler with the University of Chicago Office of Civic Engagement. Each and every one of our insightful coaches provided new perspectives on our finalists' pitch. Without their dedication to our entrepreneurial community, none of this would have been possible. It's right here in our name. Tonight, a celebration of Southside ingenuity. This event showcases a small sampling of the amazing entrepreneurship that abounds here on the South Side, and our judges will be looking for finalists with deep South Side roots. We thank our Chicago-wide audience for tuning in and celebrating these 6 Southsiders with the same energy that they'd celebrate their own neighbors. This year's competition is a showcase of what Chicago has to offer, supported by Chicagoans from every part of the city. Each of these finalists expertly has worked hard and built a ton of dedication into building community in their own backyards, using whatever resources they can. We're proud to produce Southside Pitch and showcase each and every one of them. We at the IJ Clinic hope to inspire entrepreneurial spirit in all of us through the pitch and shine a light on those who work hard to provide healthy homes across our city. Later tonight, we will hear from someone who found that inspiration in Southside Pitch and how far it took them. Before we do that, we have to remind folks that a lot of people have come together to make this event what it is. And to talk about those folks, I want to introduce somebody that's special to us, somebody that has been fighting for small businesses in Chicago since the day the clinic opened their doors. I'm happy to welcome back our director, Beth Krieger.
Thanks so much, Noah. Hello again, it's me. Boy, this is wonderful. It's wonderful to hear these pitches. I'm hearing them for the first time, just like you, and I'm glad I'm not a judge and don't have to vote tonight. But you do, so keep those ears open. Keep taking those notes. We do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We want to take a few moments to thank our sponsors. We have 3 sponsors tonight who have made it financially possible for us to put on such a smooth production, be a little more like Shark Tank than ever before. They've been behind the vision of Southside Pitch all the way, so we want to give them a special shout out right now. First off is United Airlines. They're a sponsor for the 2nd year here in Southside Pitch. They came to us wanting to show that they were really supportive of the community of entrepreneurs in the city of Chicago, where they have a lot of employees and a lot of passengers coming through. So they make the skies a little more friendly, and they make the city a little more friendly too by supporting these entrepreneurs. Our 2 other sponsors have been with us since the pitch began, and they're right here local to us on the south side. Our colleagues here at the University of Chicago campus. First, the Polsky Center on Entrepreneurship and Innovation, the building that we're in right now. They're a support for all kinds of entrepreneurship in and outside of the university community. So this is the place to come to learn, to experiment, to refine an idea, whether you're a student, a faculty member, or a community member. So check out Polsky if you're starting to cook up a new idea. And last, the Office of Civic Engagement here at the University of Chicago is dedicated to making sure that the conversation goes both ways, from the university to the community and back again, and that we can be truly a great neighbor for our neighbors here on the south side of Chicago, in the neighborhoods that our finalists come from. So thank you so much, United, Polsky, and OCE, for making this night possible. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Noah, and we're going to get the show rolling again. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Beth. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. But let's get back into the action, shall we? From Bronzeville, here is our semifinalist community favorite, Kenyatta Forbes.
Thank you. If you had to answer who's blacker, Rachel Dolezal or Omarosa, who would you choose? Wow. My name is Kenyatta Forbes, and I created a playing card game that asks players to answer just that. Trading Races is a playing card game that's part party game, part educational, and 100% thought-provoking. Although only 4 years young, Trading Races has managed to garner the attention of major influencers like HBO Vice News, Essence Magazine, and NPR's Code Switch, to name a few. This fun game has engaged thousands of players across the world. I created Trading Races when I was a Chicago public schools teacher. In my 10 years of teaching Black and brown students on the south side of Chicago, I noticed that they weren't interested in Black history. And I also noticed a lack of Black history within the school's curriculum. I was determined to fix that. So I got to work. I created this game using gamification, which I knew was a very powerful tool in the classroom. I saw that my students became invested in Black history, and they wanted to know more and more about each person in the card deck. While testing this game with my friends and family, I quickly realized how intergenerational Trading Races really is. It cultivated amazing debates and discussions amongst all age groups. It got to the point where I couldn't come unless I brought the game too. This led to hours of fun and entertainment. The playing card industry generated $13 billion in 2019 and is on track to reach $21 billion in 2025. Wow. The reality is this: people love playing games, and less than 1% of those games tackle race. Retailing at $24.99, Trading Races generates 76% profit from each deck sold. Every year, we've been able to maintain a minimum growth of 15% year over year with 4 main avenues: our website, Amazon, paid facilitations and workshops, and markets and festivals. Because of our existing partnerships with brands like Instagram for Business, we've seen our site traffic hit as much as 700% increase from each feature thus far. And our customers continue to come back to purchase our new theme expansion packs, like our Stay Woke expansion or our Uncle Tom expansion. Winning this competition will allow us to do 3 things. First, it'll allow us to grow our existing product line and with new decks, like new expansion packs that include city, music, and affinity groups. It'll also allow us to continue offering our no-cost diversity opportunities to educational institutions, not just during Black History Month, but throughout the year. And lastly, it'll provide the necessary capital for us to pivot to a digital playing platform so we can broaden our reach and scope. And don't think that I forgot about that initial question. So who'd you pick? Was it Rachel or was it Omarosa? Or better yet, I'm not gonna start anything here, or we could just play around at Trading Races. But just remember, the rules are simple, but the discussions won't be. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kenyatta. Joanna, we're going to start with you.
So I watched your video and I was so intrigued. I am curious, so for the educational aspect, these cards have the face and the name. So
Yes.
what is it, are people then doing research afterwards? How does that happen where they're actually learning who
That's a
these people
fantastic
are?
question. So one of the first things that I did, being a 10-year Chicago Public Schools teacher, when I launched this, I created facilitation guides for educators. So in the facilitation guides, it gives you very clear activities and guides how to set this up in your classroom. And so depending on the age of the student, it may be a research piece, or the teacher may be picking out particular cards that they want to feature and then have full classroom discussions. So right now we currently have high school level facilitation guides, and then we also have our college level facilitation guides as well. And so those activities will vary based off of the age group.
Okay. And tell me about the outcome that you're hoping people get to, because it is, there's the problematic of who's blacker than who, and
I mean, the initial question is definitely the hook, but essentially I want Black history to be outside of this month, and also outside of the more prolific people that you hear about. Black history, Black culture is much more than Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Rosa Parks. There are so many people who influence the culture, and their stories aren't being told. So I feel like this game is a vehicle to have that community conversation, to have that educational piece. It almost goes back to the old days where you had those stories being told to you. And so there's the research piece, there's the education piece, but there's definitely a community piece embedded in it as well.
Thank you.
I vote for Rachel Dolezal.
Me too.
But so here, I love card games, and I love games. My friends and I play games all the time. This is what bothers me, though. Because we play a lot, we get the same questions over and over. Do you have any plans to have different editions every
Yes.
so often, so the answers change?
Well, that's the thing. Even if you just had the starter deck, the discussions will never be the same because the players have different knowledge. The cards that come up randomly will be different, and you have to play the hand that you're dealt. And so one of the great things about Trading Races is that it has high replayability because the opportunities for change from player to card are definitely there. And then we also have those expansion packs. I believe you guys have the Chicago one in your box. So those cards get added into the starter deck. So that changes the conversation as well. Currently we have 3. So we have the Chicago expansion, We have the Stay Woke expansion and the Uncle Tom expansion.
Nice. Do you have like a R&D department that helps you come up with who goes into this pack?
It's all me.
All you.
Yeah, I'm shipping, customer service, all the things that a young entrepreneur does. But I definitely lean on my friends, family. I have a lot of great friends in the DEI space as well that I lean on to make those decisions. And so it is a community effort when it's happening.
So are your plans to then bring in people to bring more content?
Absolutely. When I want to get into the affinity groups, and I know that I'm not an expert in all of those groups, so it's really necessary and essential that I have the viewpoints and the information coming from a space that I'm not an expert in.
Got it. One more question. You mentioned, I didn't catch this, and you mentioned something about 700% expansion on something.
700% increases. So we've been really blessed as a company to every single year have a very high profile partnership or feature. So our first one, which was with HBO Vice News, I had a full 5-minute segment when the game launched. Then that followed up with Essence Magazine. I had a feature on NPR's Code Switch. And then most recently, I did a partnership with Instagram for Business, and that resulted in getting a creative partnership with them and a post on their business page on Facebook that has over 10 million users, 10 million followers, sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna stop now because I can. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you said that you've had about 15% year-over-year growth over the last 4 years, which that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What are your revenue numbers? And what are you projecting for this year?
For this year, we're projected to hit just under $32,000. Okay. Yeah. So last year was a little bit, COVID happened, the pandemic happened, of course, but we were able to pivot during that time and shift a lot of our in-person facilitations to virtual experiences as well. And then we actually started to pick up virtual game nights as well, too.
Awesome. And one other question I have is, I love to ask founders this. Who is your biggest inspiration to start your own business, and why?
My grandmother. Okay. My grandmother is the most influential person in my entire life. She basically taught me that there's nothing that you can't do, no matter how long it takes you. She did not learn how to read and write until she was 80. So to see her go through that process before she passed away was really impactful for me. And all of her grandchildren have master's degrees because of what she couldn't get when she was growing up. So she's my biggest influence.
What's your marketing strategy? Like, how are you going to make sure that everybody has this for Christmas? Huh? Tell me.
Yes. There's a couple things that I do in terms of marketing. Seeking out those major influence partnerships has been super impactful on the business, for sure, because I understand that it's such a niche kind of category of playing card games. And so making sure that I'm developing those partnerships, having a really big presence on social media, we've been able to grow our our mailing list pretty substantially, and having two separate groups, being very distinct in that marketing practice. So knowing how to market to educators versus the social gameplay community is very essential. And so I've gotten that down to a pretty good science of what teachers or educators need and how to continuously keep them coming back, but then also those people who are just trying to have a great time. So we're also using like Google Analytics, Facebook marketing as well. And then word of mouth has been our biggest thing as well, and doing festivals and markets. So we've always been invited to attend Afropunk every single year, so that we have a huge footprint, lots of games playing, so it's very celebratory. And we have a great time when we're there every year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, so far, I've mentioned that we ask our judges to think about the way these pitches are highlighting the business's impact so far and their vision for the future. The third criterion to consider is creativity. All of these entrepreneurs have created businesses that weren't there before. What does that pitch tell you about how vibrant that creativity is? Is the entrepreneur testing out an innovative business model and solving a problem customers face in a brand new way? Has the business pivoted in creative ways to work through challenges? What makes this particular business unique? Well, we're going to find out a little bit more. Introducing Dominique Jones from Grand Crossing.
Women only make up 4% of construction apprentices in the state of Illinois. African Americans, only 9%. Now think about this. How many vacant and abandoned properties have you seen while just simply driving throughout the South Side? Well, I'm from the South Side, and I counted. 8 out of 14 properties said vacant and abandoned on just one city block. Hi, I'm Dominique Jones, and I am founder and CEO of D. Jones Construction. We're a full-service general construction company servicing small businesses, nonprofits, and investors. But that's not all that we do. What makes us so unique is that we are building our communities with the community. Noticing that I was hitting a glass ceiling very early in my career as a construction project manager, I decided to create D. Jones Construction as a way to provide myself and those that look like me a more fair, equal, safer, and professional working environment to help us advance in this forever growing industry. That is why I also created an internal construction training program through our Tools Up Foundation. Our goal is to prepare marginalized groups into entering into this forever growing construction field, especially in a forever under construction city such as Chicago. The vision I have for the company is growth, expanding our reach, and just reaching out to different individuals who are interested in coming into the construction industry. We have already started to make a major impact throughout the South Side of Chicago. Not only do we service our clients, but we also have our own portfolio of investment properties where we restore some of the most hazardous and dangerous properties throughout the South Side. This shows the community that we are committed to providing a safer and more sustainable environment for them. So, you're asking, what are you gonna do next, Dominique? The next thing I wanna do is hire more employees and expand our reach. We created a unique marketing strategy that works. After making a decision to leave my job so that I could run the company full time, we experienced a revenue of over $800,000. That's a 1,233% increase in just 1 year. What we have, it works, and our clients want it. So if I win this money in this competition, I plan on using the funds to build out our headquarters. Our headquarters is specifically designed for our employees and for our internal construction training program. We are committed to becoming a construction workforce hub right here on the South Side of Chicago. With your help, help me to continue to build our communities with the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominique. Let's start with Karen.
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
This is a great, I love your pitch. So you talked about specific niche, not industries, but customers.
Yes.
Nonprofits and a couple of different, why are those your specific customers?
Those are the customers that have reached out to me. All of our customers, we receive from social media. Just from me marketing the company, marketing all the projects that we've done. And a lot of the nonprofit organizations came through architects who also saw our projects and stuff online. So working with architects, working with structural engineers, they bring us their customer base so that we can bid on those projects. So they just so happen to be nonprofit organizations and small business owners who are trying to make a difference within their neighborhoods.
And so are you doing mostly like build outs and rehabs and things like that?
Yes, correct. So we do restoration, we do complete gut renovations on multi-units, and we also do commercial interior build outs.
And what's your unique selling point? Like, why are people coming to D. Jones Inn?
I don't know. I wish I knew why, but I think it's because our motto is where communication meets construction. All the time you hear about contractors who walked off of a job, right? You hear that they just walked off, never came back, sometimes even taking their customers' money. So, and they just left with no communication. So I think that it's important that we stress communication because construction gets crazy. And if you're not communicating from the top to the bottom, then wrong materials get installed or something is a couple feet off than it was supposed to be in the field. So I think our customers love the fact that we communicate with them from beginning to end.
Great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So you said that you did $800,000 in revenue. Was that this year? Is that this year to this point or last year?
So that was in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, surprisingly. That was my first year taking the company full time, and we generated $800,000. And this year we're on track to generate the same amount.
Okay. So 2 questions. What was your net profit last year?
So we always take about, I want to say 20% of that. So 20% is broken down. 10% is the actual profit. The other 10% is broken down into 5% that goes to overhead, and then the other 5% goes back into the business. We have to have money to front projects, so we have to make sure that we're putting back into the business.
Okay. And so my follow-up question would be, so last year 800,000, this year projecting 800,000. What would you attribute to the flat growth for this year?
So, something very traumatic happened with the company. And so like I said, we have a personal portfolio of investment properties. So one of the properties that we were working on was a 2-unit building. We were just about finished with the build out. Everything was done. We were about to put it on the market the next week. Someone set it on fire. They set it on fire and completely destroyed the entire building. With that setback, I had to use a lot of my time and money to repair that property because of issues with insurance not being enough. It was in the middle of a pandemic, so people weren't lending like they usually do. So luckily, it's a happy ending to the story. I just closed and sold that property actually on Tuesday. So thank you. So now we're ready to start growing. Like I said, the client base need is there, and now it's just time to hit the ground running, hire more employees now that I am in a better position than I was last year.
I mean, being part of an entrepreneur is handling adversity, and I think you're doing a great job. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Have you worked on any large projects that perhaps any of us might be familiar with?
Yes. So not that my company has done. We're not there yet. We're almost there. I am certified MBE, WBE, so I will be going after those larger projects. But I personally worked on the new Inglewood High School. I was the project manager as an owner's rep. So we basically were the top managers on that project. And as you can see, it's a beautiful state-of-the-art high school. And also Malcolm X College, too. I worked on that, too.
Wow. And how many employees do you currently have?
So right now, we have about 3 employees. I'm trying to grow, trying to expand, but I wear, I'm only 3 years in, so I wear a lot of the hats. But right now, we have about 3 employees, but we work with a lot of different subcontractors, which always, is important to have strong subcontractors to bring those projects to completion.
Great. I have a lot of questions. I'll try to, I'm whittling them down. I'd be curious to hear about your partnership. So there's so much in my world around how we support diverse businesses in contracts.
Absolutely.
And in contracting. So I'm thinking about the Cook County Land Bank. I'm thinking about new products that are coming online that are really geared towards entrepreneurs of color in the construction trades. So what have you worked on now in terms of those kind of partnerships? And I also was curious of as you're thinking about your growth, what's your sweet spot now in terms of the type of projects you're working on, and what do you want grow to?
Okay, I might have to ask you to.
Yeah, that's
that
fine.
again.
I'm sorry.
But we're gonna start
I'm
from the
great at
beginning.
like three-part questions.
Those are really good questions. So right now, our partnerships with the foundation that we have, we've partnered with Kennedy King College to receive some of their students starting in next spring so that they can learn the hands-on training in the field on our different projects. That's on the foundation side. On the actual business side of D. Jones Construction, we partner with, for instance, Neighborscape. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that organization. But that organization, they provide sustainable living for people that are transitioning in the Inglewood community. So we worked on multiple multi-units and single-family units to help bring those buildings and properties up to city code so that they could provide a safer living conditions for their participants with that organization.
Okay. And then there was, I'm losing my question.
I know you said, where's my sweet spot? Like, where do I plan on?
Yeah, so like the kind of the projects you're working on now and where you want to grow.
So my sweet spot, I love commercial interior build-outs. It's my absolute favorite. I love working with the small business owners, especially on the south side of Chicago. Like, I might be getting their business cards to build out their spaces in the future, probably. But my sweet spot is the complete gut renovations of these distressed and hazardous properties that are located throughout the entire south side.
And that was going to be my other question. So we've got the two sides of the business.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about that, the ownership and the rehab work that you're doing when you're...
Absolutely. So basically, we acquire a property with my own funding. Like, everything is funded with me. But basically funding to get more funding, if that makes sense. We use D. Jones Construction to do all of the renovations, like all of the construction work. And then we also partner with community leaders to see if anyone within the community would like to come and work on these projects. They don't have to be skilled because some of the stuff we could just teach them while they're there. So this it's like bringing construction meets tradesmen. You know, there's a shortage of tradesmen in construction, but a lot of marginalized groups are not exposed to the construction projects. So I'm bringing the construction projects to those marginalized groups so that they can learn right there in their own neighborhoods.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question real quick? Sorry. So you said 30 employees, right?
No, 3 employees.
Oh, 3 employees, okay.
I wish I had 30 employees.
Okay. I guess I'll still ask the question. What percentage of them are, or how many of them are minority or women?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, all
Love
of them.
it.
I have 2 women and one guy, and they're all African American.
And that would remind me, of my question was your subcontractors too.
All of them are minorities, every last one of them. Black and brown, Hispanic, Black. Yeah. That's the goal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was so inspired by these pitches that I got Kelly's name wrong. I'm sorry, Kelly. It's okay. But of course, last but certainly not least, our final criterion for picking the best pitch, my personal favorite, showmanship. As we continue to hear from our last pitch for the night, consider who gave the best pitch, who kept you glued to the screen, who was dynamic and energetic and convinced you that this is an entrepreneur you want to invest in. It's a tough call, but that's why we're relying on all of you to help us determine our winners. Once the pitching is over, be sure to stay tuned and follow the link to our audience survey. With that said, I'm happy to introduce Kamisha Jones from South Shore.
Imagine a place where Black women on the south side of Chicago could go to receive therapy. A place that prioritizes taking care of your mental wellness. Women who come to this place leave with their heads held higher and the wounds that sought to break them mended. This place that I described exists and has the reach to serve hundreds of Black women in this city. That place is Sister Afia Community Mental Wellness. Hi, my name is Kamisha, and I'm the founder of Sister Afia Community Mental Wellness, a social enterprise offering low-cost mental wellness care centering the experiences of Black women in South Shore. Since 2017, we've served over 1,000 women by making mental wellness care affordable. Women who come to Sister Afia report benefits such as being less stressed, gaining practical coping skills, and having a therapist of color without the financial strain. We have an 100% recommendation rating from our customers and a 4.7 out of 5-star overall satisfaction rating for the quality of our services. Mental health care is critical for women who've experienced the trauma of losing a loved one to gun violence or being burnt out from taking care of their families and their communities, especially in this pandemic. Unfortunately, there are women like the ones who I just mentioned who are empowered and ready to seek therapy, but they cannot afford the high costs. Did you know that the average therapy session out of pocket is $150? And the Black community is the highest uninsured in healthcare in the nation, and those with Medicaid have a difficult time finding someone who takes their state insurance. Well, I have good news. Sister Afia has found a sweet spot to provide affordable therapy to this community at 1/3 the cost of our competitors without compromising on quality. We are asking you to invest in our effort to hire 2 additional therapists to offer discounted therapy to women in our community. With our multiple revenue streams, such as insurance income and memberships, we can offer therapy at a lower cost. In 2017, Sister Afia's revenue was $12,000 a year. By expanding our therapy services and hiring additional therapists, in 2020, we generated over $100,000 in revenue. With your support, we can hire these additional therapists, serve at least 100 more women, and generate an additional $60,000 in revenue in 2022. When you invest into Sister Afia, you are investing into the lives of Black women who deserve mental wellness care without cost being a major barrier. Renee, one of our clients, shared that it's been amazing to have a safe space to process the things that I'm going through, that I don't have to carry my burdens by myself, and I have someone that is relatable and cares about my mental wellness. With your support, we can help hundreds of women just like Renee and make the South Side whole, well, and thriving. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's start with Blake.
Yeah, so what has been the retention? Actually, first of all, how many therapists do you have on staff currently?
Currently, I have 4 therapists on staff, including myself, and our retention is about 80%. So the clients who do come to Sister Afia do stay with us, and that shows the quality of the therapeutic relationship that our therapists build with our clients, and that they are gaining and growing from their experiences in therapy.
How did you read my mind with my second question? It was about the retention. I commend you for that. So that's not a question. But so I guess my other question then is, so you're 1/3 the cost of your competitors. Can you expand a little bit on that and how, because I want to understand how that's sustainable for your business.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we have multiple revenue streams. So we have insurance income, which provides us with the highest amount of reimbursement for services. We also have holistic mental wellness memberships that start at $85 a month, where women can get individual therapy, access to support groups, wellness classes, and social events. And our reimbursement rate, for example, for one therapy session from an insurance provider is $120. And you can imagine if you do, 60 sessions a month, that can generate about $8,000, right? So that's one cost that helps to offset offering the lower cost. We start our therapy sessions at $50 a session, which is 1/3 of that $150 that I mentioned. And we're still able to pay our therapists at a competitive rate at about $25 an hour. So we keep 50% of the money that we get from that client. And we do our therapy services based off of income. So it's starting at $50 a month, and then our highest cost is $80 a month for sliding scale therapy.
Awesome, thank you. So my other question then is, what are your plans for expansion?
Thank you for asking that question. So we actually expanded this year. We opened a mental wellness center in South Shore. This year is our first brick and mortar. Before, when we started Sister Afia, we're doing pop-up events all across the South Side at women's empowerment events. We've been at parties, grocery stores, beauty salons. And then in 2019, we got a small office space in the Henry English Business Center in South Shore. And then last year, because we've been growing, the demand of therapy services is so high that we were able to get a storefront where we have 4 offices, a group therapy room, conference room. And so I need to hire these additional therapists to fill those spaces because we have so many women who reach out to us every day. I need therapy. I need therapy. I want you all to serve me. But because we don't have enough therapists on staff, we're turning people away. And I want Sister Afia to be a place where any woman, regardless of her income or her background, can go to receive services.
Great, thank you so much.
Where exactly are you located now? You said in the storefront?
Yes, 71st and Constance.
Okay.
So we're right beside the Nash Community Center.
Okay. Got it. And do you see men or no?
We actually do have a few gentlemen who we see. So we see anybody above the age of 18, but we specifically focus on centering Black women because they're the carers, they're the givers, the family. I mean, they're the backbone of our community, and often they're so ignored. So we focus our services centered around what can support Black women, but we also serve people who are of other ethnicities and of other genders.
Have you given any consideration to providing therapy for young adults, teenagers that are under 18 that need that box under our table?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is something that we've been requested. And so my goal is to be able to hire therapists that can serve teenagers and serve the whole family. Because when you're working with a teenager or a child, you have to support the whole family. And as a clinical social worker, I understand the importance of that. And I want to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to properly serve that community when the time comes. But our average age of people who come to therapy are between 20 and 30 years old. So still in that young adult age range, but just a little bit older than teenagers.
So the profile of your average client, are these professional women? Are they mothers? Are they
We
caretakers?
see everybody. We see PhD students to, women who are on public assistance, to, women who are teachers, women who are organizers in the community. So because we offer so many options for payment, we can literally see anybody for therapy. So we see women from all walks of life who come to us for services.
Well, it sounds like you're very busy. So do you have a marketing strategy? Are you marketing your services or?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you about that. So we do have an administrative coordinator, and she runs our social media. We have 12,000 followers on Instagram, and we have 3,000 subscribers to our email newsletter. And because we provide such high-quality services, other therapists and private practices and organizations refer people to us constantly. So we have the word of mouth, the traditional, the community outreach, but we also have the social media marketing and then email marketing. And then 100% of the people who come to us recommend Sister Afia services to a friend. They said that they would do that after completing our survey. So we have multiple ways that we're able to bring women into the door to support them to heal and to grow and to be their best selves.
Thank you. Joanna?
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I missed, how many clients are you serving, let's say annually or monthly?
Oh, so when I looked at the numbers yesterday, so far this year, we've served 200 clients.
200, okay. And can you talk a little bit about your competitors? Like who else is on the south side providing therapy at this point?
So what's interesting is that we are, I don't want to say the only because I might miss somebody, but we are one of the few organizations that are based in a South Side neighborhood that provides therapy to Black women. So there are a lot of therapists that are concentrated downtown. But what about going right down the street and being able to find, a therapist? So we are special in that way, is that we're very accessible to people right in their neighborhoods, and we're also central with being in South Shore. So we're able to get people, as far north as Bronzeville, but as far south as Roseland. But as far as competitors, there are, other private practices that are really focusing on serving women of color and women who are part of the Black community. However, they're missing the mental health equity piece, and they're missing the social justice piece that we really focused on by saying that anybody, regardless of income, can come to us for services. And we've even expanded that further by launching our nonprofit, Sister Afia Community Care, last year. And now we see people, regardless of their income, who are asking for free therapy. So literally, Sister Afia has been a special place for Black women to come, regardless of their background, where they can get services and not have any barriers to care.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about the other services and partnerships? Like I know I just heard of a new yoga studio that's coming in similarly on 71st Street. So like I can imagine having this sort of wellness district starting to pop up.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we do is we love to collaborate. We collaborate with so many people across the South Side. So we've partnered with like Haji Healing Salon, they're in Bronzeville. We've also partnered with this woman named Christina Fontanelli. She does art and dance therapy, and she's from Chicago. We also just do grassroots community outreach. We go to the beauty shops where Black women are at and saying, hey, how can we get the women that are coming to your services plugged into the care that they need most. And then we just collaborate with just so many Black women practitioners that may not have businesses, but they're doing amazing work. So we hit like the businesses, the maybe more informal groups, but also women who are doing great work in this field that we want to collaborate with, and we want more people in our community to know that they're a resource as well.
Great. And my last question is even thinking about the University of Chicago, like is the model always full-time therapists, or are you doing any partnerships with MSW students or others that can come in and support group therapy, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am a UChicago alum. I went to the social work school there. And so we've reached out to the Office of Civic Engagement. I believe, I'm a mess up her name. Oh my gosh, this is on camera. So I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to mess it up. It starts with an M. But we've reached out to UChicago, and then just with my connections as being an alum, I'm always up there. I've worked with students as a field consultant, so we are able to bring people who work at neighboring institutions to be able to support like our work, even if it's in a volunteer or intern capacity.
Thank you.
I think you already answered my question, but I am also a fellow SSA alum, so nice to see you. You talked about being a social enterprise, and I was going to ask you how you were defining your business as a social enterprise. I think you answered that question when you said that you also have a nonprofit arm, but can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the three things that make us a social enterprise is purpose. So we have a business with a social mission, which is being able to address mental health and equity that's impacting the Black community and specifically Black women. People, we hire people, so we hire therapists, so we're creating jobs. And then we also serve people as well. And then lastly, profit. So even though we're a social enterprise, we're a business with a social mission, we make a profit, right? And so that helps to build a sustainable business long term, because with the pandemic and everything, we're a little bit more vulnerable businesses. And so being able to have the purpose, the people, and the profit, we're able to stay in Chicago and be a staple in the South Side long term.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship to celebrate business owners who found their home right here in Chicago. We've gotten to learn a little bit more about the incredible things happening on the South Side, and we hope our audience has found some inspiration in their stories. So to each of our finalists, thank you for pursuing your dreams and building a community you can be proud of. It's been an honor to present each of you, and I don't envy the judges or our audience who have to choose between these incredible businesses. With that, our voting link is live now. Right now, for the next 10 minutes only. Follow the QR code to the audience and start voting in that voting form for your favorite finalists. Once again, they are Blossom Girls Network, Last Lap Corner Store, Piggyback Network, Trading Races, D. Jones Construction, and Sister Afia. While our judges deliberate and our audience votes, stay tuned for a conversation with IJ Clinic Assistant Director Kathy Gritchen and Melody Roberts about her entrepreneurial journey. Vote now. Get it done.
Thank you, Noah, for the nice introduction. And I am thrilled to be introducing Melody Roberts, who is the CEO and co-founder of Live Labs.
Thanks, Kathy.
Welcome back to Southside Pitch.
It feels like a homecoming.
So you were here on this stage in 2018, and in fact, you were our first place winner. So that's a walk down memory lane. And how does it feel to be back and listen to the pitches tonight?
Well, there's a little bit of nostalgia, of course, but it's also super invigorating because it's all about the new contestants, the new businesses that are just getting going, or in some cases, really starting to grow and take off. So it's very energizing.
It's been fun listening. You know, it's been quite a process. We had over 100 people, as you know, apply, and then we had to go through the process of whittling that down. And then some of you may know that the semifinalists then created videos, and this was kind of an outgrowth from last year when we were pivoting in response to the pandemic. So those were online, and folks were able to vote for those favorites. And then here we are having picked our 6 finalists. So I hope you at home are all working on getting your votes, and there is a QR code available so that you can tap into the voting. So, you know, when you came for Southside Pitch and got involved, what was the connection? How did you hear about it? What drew you to it?
Oh, well, I lived in Hyde Park, so being on the South Side helps. And I was starting to work, so I've been working from home already for a couple of years. And I started at the co-working space, Polsky Exchange, where we're sitting right now. So I think I first heard of it just through that, you know, around the room, maybe online, through the Polsky newsletter. But I attended the year before I pitched. And that was inspiring. Not only seeing what the entrepreneurs had to say and how they could say it, but also, as I recall, Beth spoke at that event. She was very eloquent, and she said something along the lines of, "What are you waiting for?" And it spoke to me in that moment, so
a little bit of inspiration.
It was already percolating, but you know, every little nudge helps.
And when you went through the process of the pitch, and did you get a chance to participate in the coaching?
Oh, yeah. It was structured differently. From what I can tell, it's even better now. At that time, we did a preliminary pitch with all of the candidates, and we critiqued each other. And even though I have years of experience presenting, sometimes from the stage, I presented to Wall Street analysts on behalf of my employer. You know, I thought I could stand up confidently in any circumstance and deliver good information. I was actually a nervous wreck, and I was a nervous wreck in a small room in the law school with the other contestants. So there's something about trying to get this new business idea out there in a compelling way that honestly just threw me.
Right.
Threw me for a loop.
I mean, I was nervous for the contestants today. Honestly, I thought they've done an amazing job. My knees would have been knocking. I'm sitting, so you can't tell. But I'm telling you, it takes a lot of courage. And I think it's because there's that time pressure too, right? Because
oh yeah, knowing that you will get
concise.
stopped at 1 minute or 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The more pitching you do, the more formats you'll have to learn. But yeah.
Right. Excellent. So you told us about how you got inspired to be part of the pitch, and then you won. And first of all, tell us a little bit about tell us what Live Labs is, where you were at the time of the pitch, and how have things gone since then?
Well, it's been a journey. Live Labs is a consumer health tech company. So 27 million American women worry about leaking pee in public. And we're developing a simple medical device to keep them dry at the gym and adaptive exercise software to help restore natural continence. So the business initially was inspired by and is centered around a medical device, and that, it turns out, is quite a project. It's a time-consuming, regulated product development process. So at the time I pitched, I was frankly learning about what a medical device development process might even look like, and far more optimistic about how fast we could move than was warranted. But I had taken over from a co-founder. I'd been working on the business about, 6 months at the time I pitched. And a lot of the things I thought we would be doing the very next year, we're doing now. So one of the biggest hurdles for us was getting enough money up front. Software businesses are relatively cost-effective. If you have 2 or 3 coders, you can start building product right away. With hard tech and with medical device, there's a big upfront spend before you can launch your product and generate revenue. So we really spent the time between winning that pitch and now getting to the point where we have met with FDA, we're on the verge of kicking off our clinical trial. But we've raised over $2 million, 80% of it in non-dilutive NIH grant funding. We've gone from being 1 full-time person, myself, to being the equivalent of 3 full-time people and having quite a cast of talented consultants helping.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
That's a lot of growth, and it may have
More to
taken
come.
longer to get there, but that's fantastic news.
Yep.
And so perseverance, pivoting, and all of those characteristics of being a successful entrepreneur. And I follow you on LinkedIn, and I've seen that you've been pitching in other contexts. So what other kind of pitches have you been doing besides Southside Pitch?
Ooh, I pitched last night. A lot of Zoom pitching. It's not the most fun way, but boy, I've pitched people in Africa, the Middle East. Last night I was pitching people in Silicon Valley and Japan. So Zoom has really opened up the reach you can have, and because my product can be developed and then sold globally, global investors are interested, and they wouldn't otherwise have stumbled across Live Labs.
So you can really reach more people then.
Yeah, you can.
Through the whole virtual process.
There's also that saying that you should always be pitching. So I always have prototypes with me when I go to parties, if I go to a dinner date. If anyone wants to know what I do for a living or what my business is about, I'm pulling out the prototypes and telling the story. And you have to just get very good at modulating what's interesting to the person you're talking to, how long you have, what you need to get across in the time frame. Yeah, it's evolving, and your story changes.
Yeah, and that's where I think we were talking a little bit about this ahead of time, the power of the pitch, right? Because Southside Pitch, for some folks, this is their first time in front of any kind of audience. Maybe they've done a one-on-one with, of course, their customers. Yep. Maybe they're talking to vendors, possibly a lender, maybe even investors. But it's, like you said, it's a different feeling depending on the context of the pitch.
Absolutely. I think when I started pitching, and I'll speak for myself, but I think this is relatively common, I wanted to tell people everything I possibly could about the business and compress that into the time allowed. The art of it is to say as little as necessary to get people interested to learn more, to ask you great questions, to imagine whatever is in it for them, whether it's being a participant in the study you're running or potentially investing.
So when you've given pitches, I imagine sometimes things don't go as planned. I mean, especially if there's technology involved. So do you have an example of a pitch where you've had to pivot and do something a little different?
I have a handful of examples. Some have gone better than others. But actually one of my best pitches was at the University of Chicago. I was pitching as part of a competition. It really had very little to do with our business. It was the undergraduate venture capital investment competition, which is kind of like Model UN for future VCs. So the students are competing to demonstrate to the judges that they can make good investment decisions in startups. So Live Labs was there just being a startup for the purposes of the competition. But as it so happens, the technology didn't really work well that day, and maybe a minute or two into my 10-minute pitch, the slides vanished, and I just kept going. Then I think eventually the slides came back, and whatever I said in my pitch, may or may not have been great, but the students, the undergraduates, were just so impressed that I could keep going. And there have been days where I don't think I could have kept going that well, but I was pretty well prepped. And
so practice makes perfect, and you've had lots of practice and lots of success as a result, with the growth and the trajectory of Live Labs. That's fantastic.
I would still say that I'm much better in conversational mode. So pitching is a particular form of influence and persuasion and communication, and you have to do it. And there are lots of really good applications, but I still do better just having a good old-fashioned back and forth.
Right, nice one-on-one conversation, like we're getting a chance to do today. So I just want to remind the audience that you do have a chance to vote. Your vote really matters, so I hope you're taking the time. There is a QR code, so please log on, get your votes in. The judges are working hard right now, trying to work their way through all of the comments that they heard throughout the pitches and trying to come up with their results. So what do you think Southside Pitch means to small business, especially right now, like in 2021? Do you think, how is it relevant to business, would you say?
Well, I think small business right now is in a great position. There's, first of all, there's a lot of opportunity to start new businesses by virtue of the fact that some of the older businesses have shuttered. People are changing their habits, and that opens up new opportunities. And to the extent that working from home is a semi-permanent shift in our lifestyles, that means that local businesses will once again be a little bit more relevant. I know that when I started working from home 5 years ago, I started frequenting Hyde Park businesses that I hadn't really spent time with before. So I think there's, I just think in general it's a good time to be in a small business environment, and to look around and be inspired by the opportunities that are specific and local, that are under discovered, not well addressed. And Southside Pitch is a good opportunity either, if you've already got that kind of business, to push yourself to think about how to grow it, how to maybe take it outside of its birthplace and extend the value you're creating to a broader community.
Extend your reach, right?
Extend your reach, build your business, grow. Or, as sort of was my example, take that idea that's been percolating, push yourself past your comfort zone and your reservations, and get out there and do it.
Another thing that occurred to me is that part of your background is about like design thinking. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that's influenced you on how you're taking Live Labs to the next step?
Sure. So the great thing about design thinking is it's always starting with a human problem and then saying, how do we solve this problem differently? How do we reframe the way that the problem is thought of so that we can be inspired with new solutions? It inherently tethers you to what's user-centric or customer-centric, patient-centric, worker-centric, whoever you're trying to focus on. That is a powerful way to approach problem solving and value creation. But like all methods, it has its limits. So it's great to have something that's customer-centered, but then it's going to have to be good for the investor. It's going to have to be sustainable. You'll have to deliver your services in a way that's efficient and cost-effective.
So how do you know when you've got it right?
Well, I'm not that far along, but I suspect that you have a really nice gap between your costs and your revenue, and that gap's called profit.
Well, so that's certainly one measure of success for sure. But we've talked a little bit too about like the functionality of a product, or just the design being simple to use or people to understand. So I think that there's a lot that goes into.
Oh, there's a tremendous amount, and we just recently prototyped what we thought was our final. So we have a medical device that's worn intravaginally, kind of like a tampon, and then an applicator to get it into position. And we more or less finished designing the medical device 3 years ago. The applicator, though, has been going on and on and on and on. What is so hard about designing an applicator? It turns out many things. But we did some human factors testing, and women consistently used it upside down.
So that design didn't work.
It didn't work. So we had
to the drawing board.
Yeah, we had to figure out, why was that intuitive? Never crossed our minds that would happen. So there's no substitute for prototyping, and there's no substitute for interacting with your customers.
Right, awesome. Well, a fun fact is that Melody and I have known each other for a bit. Melody was a client of mine when I was a lawyer in private practice in 2018 when she participated in the pitch. And I remembered celebrating for you and being so happy that you had won at that time. And then I told Melody that I was looking to make a change in my career. And I said I was looking to make a pivot, leave private practice, and that I'd need to transition her to another lawyer. But the other thing about that is that Melody, being the gracious, generous person that she is, she had her ear to the ground for me, trying to look for the sort of thing I was looking to do. And I was looking to be in a position where I could make an impact. And she said, guess what? The IJ Clinic is looking for an assistant director. And I think you'd love it. I think you'd be great at it. And the rest is history. Here we are. So thank you, Melody.
The pitch you won.
the pitch I won. So thanks, Melody. This has been so much fun.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sticking with us for this wonderful array of entrepreneurship on the south side of Chicago. I learned a lot, I hope you did too, about all the pieces it takes to put a small business together, all of the hats that you all wear. I think one of my biggest takeaways is an awesome grandma makes a big difference in a business, right? We all need that wisdom from our elders, from the community, and we need the support. Every small business needs its customers. So all of you out there, look these businesses up, knock on their doors, send them your requests. It takes a lot of pieces to put together a small business. It took a lot of pieces to put together Southside Pitch as a TV show tonight. And before I announce the winner, I have to say a huge thank you and congratulations, and whoo, you are phenomenal, to Arion Molisi, who put all of the pieces together for this show. He started working with us in August. We gave him a big assignment, and he blew it out of the water. So thank you, Arion. I don't want to hold the suspense any longer. My son, who's 8, calls it a pressure point. But we're in that pressure point. Every single one of these finalists won today. I think we heard from you during the coaching that you felt like you'd already won some prizes, and we're hoping you've won a lot of attention and customers too. We're so impressed and so excited to see where you go next and those visions come true. But we've got some prizes to give out too. First off, I want to announce the community favorite, so the audience favorite, the business that got the most support from our audience out there and gets a prize of $1,000 is Last Lap Corner Store. So you can run right over and get your prize money. Congratulations. And moving on to the winners, third, second, and first place, chosen by our panel of judges who were struggling back there. I had to keep saying, come on, you gotta do it. As well as our audience, the fifth voter, or the fifth judge, I should say. Third prize and $5,000 goes to G. Jones Construction.
Just want to make sure you've got the current results.
Ah, great. Great, but I can't read this. So now let's talk about a pressure point.
I could announce it for you.
Yeah, oh, here's the man himself.
Hey.
Do the honors.
Oh, I couldn't, please.
But who's,
This is second here. That's it.
oh, I see, I got it. All right, second place is Piggyback. Congratulations. We did not plan that to heighten the drama. First place, $8,000 is Sister Afia. Congratulations. So thank you so much to our judges. You guys brought such insight and such hard driving, but inspiring questions to the finals. Thank you to our sponsors, OCE and United and Polsky. Thank you to this amazing production crew that put this show together. You may not see them, but you see their work. That's Video Parachute, another small business in Chicago that was super excited about being a part of this event. So thank you to the audience. Before we leave tonight, let's hear just a final word from Sister Afia.
Wow, I just want to say, just give a round of applause to the other pitch contestants. Like, y'all are all dope. Can I just push this up? Okay. Y'all are all dope. Like, I didn't feel like I won. Like, I felt like everybody brought it, and everyone has a business that's going to contribute so much to our city. And so I'm just honored to just compete with you all. I'll tell a little story. Ariane knows that this is my third or maybe fourth time applying to Southside Pitch. So every year since I started the business, I applied. And God's timing is everything. So I feel like, you know, everything that I've gone through as a business owner, all of the work, because it's hard work, especially doing community-based work. It's a different animal. I love it, but, you know, it took a long time to get here. So I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to my team at Sister Afia. I don't do this work alone. Like, I have some dope Black women who are holding it down, providing like awesome services to our community. I'm thankful to everyone who sees us as a worthy investment. Like, mental health services are so needed right now, and in the Black community, people are ready to heal. And so I'm just honored to do this healing work to serve our community and to serve the South Side. So thank you.
Congratulations to everyone. We've got a celebration to attend. Thanks for all coming.